Chapter 26, Forgot to look at a guide. Of course, Chen Guo didn't kill Yi Shu and couldn't enter the level 5 Green Forest as a level 1. In the end, Chen Guo could only start completing the missions alone. No matter what was said, it was still faster than only killing monsters. In his busy schedule, Yi Shu made room to turn around and quickly glance at the character on her screen, chasing haze. Where have I seen this ID before? Chen Guo almost knocked down the monitor with her head. Baring her teeth, she turned her head. This is my main account's ID. Oh, I thought so. Yi Shu's head had already turned back. Chen Guo suddenly discovered, besides that time when I walked in with my face mask, I haven't seen this guy's front again. It's only the skeleton graveyard and nothing more. Does he really need to concentrate so hard? But thinking about that, her temper cooled because he really did need to concentrate so hard. In the skeleton graveyard, monsters would often randomly pop up. A scattered skeleton in an obscure location could suddenly converge together into a skeleton, or a skeleton might suddenly dig out of the ground. This dungeon didn't have a set route or a set number of monsters. The dungeon would change every time, testing players' concentration and reaction time. What's more, Yi Shu's party only had 4 members, so they needed to concentrate even more. Looking at it like this, Yi Shu's actions were reasonable. Her anger wasn't though. Chen Guo could only gloomily continue to complete her missions. At this moment, it had only been a day since the opening of the 10th server. Beginners were still everywhere like clouds, causing Chen Guo to advance with her missions very slowly. It had taken even Yi Shu, that sort of peak expert, 2 hours to complete them all. Chen Guo needn't be said. Although the situation was better than yesterday, lining up, kill stealing, these patterns still existed. During the process, she suddenly heard a cold laugh float by. I knew it'd be like this. Chen Guo grew angry. Is he making fun of me? But when she turned her head to look, Yi Shu had his headphones put on properly and continued to dungeon with his party. Was he talking to himself? Chen Guo muttered to herself. In the end, it was best not to make trouble and continued to silently kill monsters. To Yi Shu and the others, this time, clearing the skeleton graveyard was more threatening than dangerous. The road was quite bumpy because 7 Fields and the others couldn't react in time to the dungeon's difficulties, to that sort of scare by the skeletons suddenly popping out. When the final boss collapsed, 7 Fields and the others were all covered in sweat. If it weren't for Yi Shu and instead had Sleeping Moon as the leader, they definitely wouldn't have cleared it. This didn't mean that the dungeon required a peak-level expert to lead them, rather it was because the players would take a lot of damage and required a priest to heal them. Evidently, this was the beginner village's lesson on dungeons, letting them know the importance of class combinations. In the end, with Yi Shu's Lord Grim who could heal and kill monsters, they rolled through the skeleton graveyard. After coming out, Yi Shu looked back. Chen Guo was still in the beginner area lining up and wasn't paying attention to him, so he entered again. 7 Fields and the others were a little nervous. They were holding the expert back a little. With Brother Expert's skill, he could easily find 3 other much more skilled partners. If they didn't perform well, would Brother Expert leave them? As a result, 7 Fields and the others concentrated 120% it. Carefully and cautiously, they clearly improved when reacting to those skeletons suddenly popping out. Their clearing speed increased by a lot. Skeleton Graveyard also had 3 hidden bosses, Skeleton Warrior, Skeleton Mage, and Skeleton King. But the dungeon wouldn't give any hints if a hidden boss appeared because these 3 hidden bosses could come out of the shadows at any time. Only then would the system give a prompt. Often, in parties with bad luck, a member may have already been killed off by the time the system prompt came out. With Yi Shu leading, this type of careless error would never occur. Only, after clearing the second dungeon easily, the hidden boss still hadn't appeared yet. They had already cleared the dungeon twice. Yi Shu turned his head again to look at Chen Guo's progress. She was in the middle of kill stealing with others outside of beginner village. Yi Shu searched a bit more and saw her character's level. It was already level 4 and she was about to hit level 5. Better hurry up and start again, Yi Shu thought to himself and entered at once. 7 Fields and the others also didn't hesitate. Kill kill kill, move move move. Suddenly, in front of them, a crooked gravestone gently shook. 7 Fields and others hadn't noticed this and continued forward. Yi Shu had already hastily yelled, "Move back." The 3 heard Yi Shu and without thinking, immediately followed his command, neatly retreating. Lord Grimm's figure had already moved past them in a flash. After that gravestone gently shook, suddenly, it flew out of the dirt towards the 4 of them. Yi Shu shouted, "Careful." The prepared 7 Fields and the others quickly dodged it. Half of a skeleton body arose from out of the hole where the gravestone flew out of. Seeing that intact skeleton, they knew it wasn't any ordinary monster. The system also solemnly announced, "You have entered the skeleton warrior's place of eternal rest." "We've finally run into one," Yi Shu was gratified. "How do we fight it?" 7 Fields and the others immediately asked. The half-exposed skeleton warrior leapt out of the cavity like a rocket, showing off his powerful jumping ability. In midair, polluted dirt rolled out from his body, crashing down onto the ground like rain. In his hand, he carried an enormous but extremely damaged sword around the size of a person. "Too bad," Yi Shu said. "What's wrong?" 7 Fields and the others all asked. "I forgot to look at a guide," Yi Shu said. The 3 felt like throwing up blood. "Brother expert, you're too mystical." "I can help you look," Sunset Clouds yelled. "No good, if he attacks you then you're dead," Yi Shu said. The skeleton warrior had already dropped to the ground, causing the earth to quake and the mountains to shake. The attack range was extremely large. Drifting water was too slow and didn't dodge in time. He was hit by the shock wave and fell flat on his face. The skeleton warrior's 2 black eyes swept over them as if searching for a target to attack. "Then someone draw it out." "I'll check a guide," Sunset Clouds said. "No need." While Yi Shu said this, he took off his headphone and turned around to shout, "Boss, boss." "What?" Chen Guo tapped her keyboard replying, but didn't turn her head. "Help me look up a guide," Yi Shu said. "Guide? What guide?" Chen Guo was astonished and looked towards him. "A skeleton warrior guide," Yi Shu controlled Lord Grimm while pointing to his screen. Chen Guo's head almost knocked over the monitor again. "You starting looking up a guide after you've met the boss? What have you been doing up until now?" Chapter 27, the guide says 24 times. "I forgot," Yi Shu replied simply, which made Chen Guo unable to pick at it. She was currently lining up to steal kills and nothing more. She wasn't in any danger at all, so she quickly switched out of the game and searched up a skeleton graveyard guide. She asked Yi Shu, "Which boss?" "Skeleton warrior? Mainly look for how to make it so that he drops the saber 100% of the time," Yi Shu said. "Saber? 100% drop?" Chen Guo hadn't done this type of low-level dungeon in 5 years. She knew what the saber was because she would bring others to look for this item from time to time. But she didn't know about any guides having this information. After all, her memories were all of her rolling through the dungeon with her main account. Why would she have needed to look up a guide? "Yeah, use that as the main subject," Yi Shu replied with confidence. Although he forgot the details, he knew that it definitely existed because he had written about it before. Chen Guo promptly searched the keywords, skeleton warrior, saber, 100%, and sure enough results appeared. Seeing the forum post state, it was already 10 years old. Chen Guo clicked on it and looked. She was immediately surprised. It's a post by Yi Chu. Quote, the original poster's name was, to her shock, One Autumn Leaf. This wasn't a secret in the Glory community. Everyone knew that before the Glory Professional Alliance came into existence, Yi Chu's ID had already become a famous expert. Otherwise, the Professional Alliance wouldn't have invited him as a pro gamer. Right, that one. See how many times I need to hit the buckle fastening the saber, Yi Chu said. What? Chen Guo had never seen this post. For a moment, she had no idea what Yi Chu was talking about. She quickly skimmed over the post and finally found what Yi Chu wanted. 24 times. There are also pictures of where to hit it. Do you need to see it? Chen Guo said. Enlarge it so I can see, Yi Chu said. Chen Guo opened the diagram and enlarged it. Hey, look. Yi Chu turned his head like lightning and stopped on it for less than a second before turning back. You're done? Chen Guo was flabbergasted. Yup, Yi Shu said. Quote, do you need anything else? No, Yi Shu said. He remembered that he needed to do enough damage to the targets. Although he didn't remember exactly how much, but with the myriad manifestation umbrella's 180 physical attack plus his strength, he believed that Lord Grimm reached that requirement. 7 fields, go to the left, sunset clouds, go around to the back, drifting water, move back a bit or the next shock wave will hit you. Yi Shu began directing the 3 into position, while he continued to look for an opportunity to attack. Before, the 4 players were only dodging. Without Yi Shu's orders, no one went in to attack. When Yi Shu was looking for a guide, 7 fields and the others didn't know that he wasn't looking for a guide on how to beat the skeleton warrior, but rather on how to make his saber drop 100% of the time. This saber was only an ornamental equipment. It had no effects on a person's strength, which is why there was such a 100% drop method. But the method still required exceptionally high skill to pull off. Chen Guo had already thrown away her game and stood behind Yi Shu. She wanted to see how Yi Shu would hit the saber buckle 24 times. She had looked at the guide. That buckle was located on the skeleton warrior's waist. The player would have to hit the small buckle from every direction. From the screen, if the player didn't get in close to at least 2 meters, then there was no way to hit it. Yi Shu had already controlled Lord Grimm to meet the boss face to face. When he healed the party, the skeleton warrior had locked onto Lord Grimm as the number 1 target. Lord Grimm had been dodging left and right the entire time while 7 fields and the others wandered around waiting for Yi Shu to tell them when to attack. After Yi Shu got a hold of the guide, he arranged the 3 far away. The 3 didn't know Yi Shu's intentions and could only listen to his orders. Seeing that Lord Grimm met the skeleton warrior face to face, their hearts tightened. The battle was finally going to start. The skeleton warrior rushed up in large strides. From head to toe, the skeleton screeched out an ear-piercing friction sound. Yi Shu directed Lord Grimm to quickly face it, but his gaze only looked at the skeleton warrior's waist. Chen Guo, who was standing behind him, discovered it was much more difficult than it seemed. The guide made the targets on the buckle easy to see. But in battle, the skeleton warrior swayed back and forth. Its movements inadvertently masked the targets on the buckle. The skeleton warrior raised its body-sized sword 2 meters away from Yi Shu. Calm and unhurried, Yi Shu quickly attacked. His myriad manifestation umbrella's attack speed of 5 was definitely higher than the gigantic sword. Usually, gigantic swords had an attack speed of 1. In this distance, although the skeleton warrior's gigantic sword was huge, its length couldn't compare to a battle lance's. Yi Shu calmly pushed his mouse. Lord Grimm's battle lance shot out late but arrived first, stabbing it head-on with a dragon tooth. While the skeleton warriors was briefly stunned, Lord Grimm had already closed in and used a sky strike. The skeleton warrior's body was heavier compared to the Midnight Phantom Cats, but was still lighter than that big-headed and fat-bellied spider boss. After a sky strike, the skeleton warrior was knocked up neither high nor low. Lord Grimm took advantage and slashed. The attack made a sound that completely differed from the sound made by hitting the skeleton warrior's bones. You hit it, Chen Guo excitedly shouted. It's only once, Yi Shu spoke without thinking. With a flick of his fingers, Lord Grimm turned around and struck again. He swept the floor with his lance and the skeleton warrior that had been flipped over by the sky strike was hit again with a pung sound. This attack had also hit his buckle. Yi Shu wasn't greedy. After 2 hits, he immediately controlled Lord Grimm to retreat. As the skeleton warrior got up, he hit the ground to support himself, creating a small 360-degree shock wave. This was to prevent shameless players from endlessly comboing him with a knockdown and floor sweep skill. The majority of bosses had these sort of shock wave attacks when getting up. Chen Guo watched and saw that he had hit the buckle twice. At first, she felt excited for Yi Shu's good beginning. But after reflecting on it, she felt that the 2 precise hits onto the small belt were quite frightening. While she stood distracted, another pung sound echoed through her ear. Lord Grimm had jumped out at the perfect time, dodging the edge of the shock wave. After the shock wave attack passed, Yi Shu already directed Lord Grimm to rush up once again. With a thrust, his lance stabbed the buckle again. The skeleton warrior's 2 hands crashed down. Lord Grimm swiftly rolled back and that gigantic sword smashed past him. Even the spectating Seven Fields and the others couldn't tell whether Lord Grim had been hurt or not. They quickly looked at the party list showing his HP and MP and discovered that he had completely dodged the sword. Chapter 28, Professional Level. Seven Fields and the others held their breaths, afraid of disturbing Lord Grim's battle. At the same time, the three also took precautions, ready to listen to an order and begin attacking. Unexpectedly, they waited left and right, watching Lord Grim and the skeleton warrior fight, surrounded by perils. But there was no call for them to help. Seven Fields and the others, one on the left, one on the right, and one right behind the skeleton warrior, all steadily stopped the skeleton warrior's shockwave attack from time to time. "He's not planning on soloing it, is he?" Sunset Clouds sent Seven Fields a message. "Honestly, I'm also having my doubts," Seven Fields said. Soloing a hidden boss. These few words that Sunset Clouds typed made them all feel horrified. "It's not like it's impossible," Seven Fields said. "Brother Expert, you're too good. Where did you come from? With this skill, I don't even think our guild leader can match you," Sunset Clouds said. "Definitely not a match," Seven Fields concluded. The pitiful Full Moon Guild leader became the leader because everyone worshipped his 200 APM hand speed. In the end, only a day had passed since the start of the 10th server, but he already had 3 traitors in his ranks. To the boss, this was already disdainful beneath contempt. At this moment, Drifting Water also sent a message, "I don't think he'll solo it, right?" The voice system in the game only had a single channel, so voice messages couldn't be sent privately. The three relied on voice communication. Because they stood at a distance, they would have to speak a bit louder. As a result, they were afraid to disturb Brother Expert's fight with the monster, so they all sent private messages. "It's possible," Seven Fields and Sunset Clouds both replied to Drifting Water's message. "Too amazing. Should we record it?" Drifting Waters asked. The game had a built-in video recording function. "Brother Expert didn't talk about this." "I say we shouldn't," Seven Fields said. "Okay," Drifting Waters answered. Without saying another word, the three continued to watch Lord Grim fight. He truly did wield the battle lance with matchless skill. Dodging, sidestepping, it seemed as if he were fighting in a wuxia film. Seven Field and the others had their eyes open to a new world. Compared to this, normal players fighting monsters or peeking was the same as sticking their chests out and comparing specs. Rough, too rough. Chen Guo stood behind Yi Shu and tried her hardest, counting how many hits he made. Her spectator perspective of the game couldn't compare to Seven Fields and the others because she was the same as Yi Shu. She saw Lord Grim in a first-person perspective. Looking at it this way, she couldn't see a lot of Lord Grim's movements. On the contrary, because Lord Grim's line of sight kept continuously spinning, Chen Guo nearly fell down from dizziness. She couldn't keep up with that lightning-fast whirling at all. Often, with a sudden turn, she could no longer figure out what direction his character faced and even more so, where the skeleton warrior was. Buckle. She could barely even tell where the skeleton warrior was most of the time, to say nothing of the buckle. But while watching his complete mess of a screen, Yi Shu's hand movements were still crystal clear. The dizzy Chen Guo looked towards the movements done by Yi Shu's two hands. She discovered that Yi Shu's left hand clearly jumped about faster than yesterday. His right hand holding the mouse moved even faster, but didn't move much. Oftentimes, after a movement, he would immediately left-click or right-click. Chen Guo was extremely amazed. She knew that a left-click was a normal attack, a right-click was a skill attack, and that the cursor pointed to the direction and position of the attack. Yi Shu's movements and clicks were direct and efficient without the slightest sloppiness. She discovered that no matter how fast the screen spun, the mouse always moved to the right position and sent out an attack without the slightest shake. Yi Shu's right hand wasn't only quick, but also steady, exceptionally steady. "Professional level really is different," Chen Guo exclaimed in admiration. And at this moment, the headphones on Yi Shu's neck sent out another pung sound. Chen Guo heard it clearly. She could only rely on this faint sound to count 20. This was already the 20th hit on the buckle. But Lord Grim's life. In this entire process, he hadn't taken a single point of damage, which meant that the skeleton warrior hadn't hit him once. Sunset clouds, collapsing mountain. Yishu lowered his head and yelled into his headphones. Is it finally our turn? Sunset clouds originally thought the three of them weren't needed. But hearing Yishu's yell, without saying anything further, he raised his sword and rushed up. Right then, Lord Grim executed a sky strike and knocked the skeleton warrior up towards his direction. Sunset clouds held up his sword and used collapsing mountain, striking the skeleton warrior down from the air to the ground. He comboed it 8 times, the limit for collapsing mountain. Guard, Yishu still reminded Sunset Clouds, but Sunset Clouds already had this thought. Yishu hadn't yet finished his interjection when Sunset Clouds took up a guard position. The skeleton warrior rose up and the shockwave ripple hit his sword. With a dong, Sunset Clouds was pushed back. Sunset Clouds' guard was already level 4, able to reduce incoming damage by 70%. This shockwave attack also wasn't a major maneuver, so the reduced 30% damage didn't do much. Yishu's Lord Grim jumped to avoid the attack and then immediately countered with a dragon tooth, stunning the skeleton warrior. Sunset Clouds understood tacitly and without a reminder, already prepared to use his stun skill. 7 fields, drifting water, Yishu shouted. The two had already rushed forward and quickly understood his tactic. They also prepared to use their stun skills at any time. What happened? Chen Guo didn't understand why Yishu suddenly needed their help. Did you not see? Yishu asked. He immediately let Lord Grim lower his head to let her look. Chen Guo immediately saw that its saber quietly lay there next to the skeleton warrior's feet. The buckle had unexpectedly already been broken off and dropped. How could that be? Wasn't it 24 times? Chen Guo was flabbergasted. Although the headphones were a bit far from her, she could clearly hear that pung sound during his battle with the skeleton warrior. Chen Guo didn't think she had made a mistake. It was 24 times, Yishu said. How come I only heard 20 times? Chen Guo said. I used double stab 4 times. It hits twice and in rapid succession too, so you probably didn't hear it. Adding in these 4 times, doesn't that add to 24? Yishu said. Chen Guo was stunned. Double stab hit the same spot twice? Then did you make the hidden boss bleed? How come I didn't see it? 4 times and it still didn't bleed? Does it not count if it hits the buckle? Skeletons are immune to bleed, right? Yishu said. Chen Guo blushed. Glory had a lot of monsters that were immune to bleed and skeleton types were one of them. It didn't have any flesh, how could it bleed? This was the reasoning behind it. This was very basic common sense. Chen Guo, a veteran, had unexpectedly forgot it for a moment. It's all this guy's fault. With the camera angle spinning around everywhere, I would have overlooked any monster he fought. Chen Guo angrily sat back in front of her computer. There was still a giant crowd outside of Beginner Village. Monsters still had to be stolen. While troubled, she heard Yishu ask, Boss, are you preparing to pull an all-nighter? Chapter 29, First Clear Team. Why? Chen Guo asked in reply. If you're going to play all night, then you stay here, I'm going to the smoking area, Yishu said. If you go to the smoking area then are you on duty or am I? Chen Guo asked angrily. Oh, then do you want to switch seats? Didn't you not like the smell of smoke? Yishu said. Chen Guo's cheeks streamed with tears. Although she clearly understood that he was trying to take care of her, but what was this feeling of being ignored? Yishu already held a cigarette box in one hand, hinting that it was time for Chen Guo to choose to either take over for Yishu's shift or move elsewhere. Forget about it. I won't play. I'm going to sleep. Chen Guo angrily logged out of the game and got up to leave. Yishu turned around and followed Chen Guo with his eyes. He found by surprise that Chen Guo left her account card on the table and didn't take it. This wasn't being forgetful, but rather Chen Guo thinking the internet cafe is her home. It was quite normal to randomly leave things in the home. A thought immediately popped up in Yishu's mind and he hurriedly yelled, Boss, you didn't take your card. Do you want me to help you level up? Do whatever you want, Chen Guo spoke without thinking the matter through. Yishu nodded his head. His hand, approaching a 300 APM speed, quickly lit a cigarette and then put it in his mouth. The skeleton warrior's killing continued, but Yishu's speaking didn't have any effect on his ability to light up a cigarette. Now, he continued to concentrate on the game, and in a bit, the skeleton warrior was killed off. Yishu's saber was already laying on the ground. He went over and picked it up. He gave up on the rest of the items. 7 Fields and the others also didn't push him. They split up the equipment and randomly put the other materials in their bags. While they did this, 7 Fields said, "Brother Expert, we're going to keep the high-grade materials that you didn't want from the other few hidden bosses yesterday. Later, when the prices are high, we'll sell them. Right now the server just opened, so all of the swindlers are buying them from newbies at low prices. Later, when the prices are standard again, we'll sell them and then split the money with you." "I've already taken my share. That stuff is yours," Yishu said. "More able people should earn more. Brother Expert, you're too modest," 7 Fields said. Yishu laughed and didn't say anything else. The 4 continued to clear dungeons. 7 Fields asked, "Do we need another person?" Yishu understood his meaning. He had already gotten what he wanted. Having another person would make their efficiency a bit faster. "Up to you. But today, I'm only training to 20. Afterwards, I need to help my friend level," Yishu said. Okay, that's fine. Do you need our help?" 7 Fields said. Actually, they hadn't turned off their headphones when they heard Yishu and Chen Guo talk. 7 Fields vaguely heard quite a bit. "No need. You guys can do your own things," Yishu said. Okay, 7 Fields and the others didn't say any more. They had known Yishu for a day. Although people established relationships quickly over the internet, as adults, they all knew proper behavior. After leaving the dungeon, 7 Fields began shouting in order to add a player. It was too easy to form parties in the new server. A string of requests came and in the end, 7 Fields picked a level 17 female player. The female player was called Immerse Jade. After joining the team, she became excited seeing the party list. 7 Fields, Sunset Clouds, Drifting Water, Lord Grimm, weren't this the party that first cleared Spider Cave and the Spider Emperor? She would never have thought that she would be able to join such an expert team. After connecting to the voice system, she conveyed her excitement to everyone. Because the voice system in Glory was popular, it put an end to fake gender players. When players moved about together, they would definitely directly use their voices to communicate. What type of female would only type and not talk? If they did, everyone would immediately have their doubts. Of course, if you were male but sounded like a female, this sort of gift couldn't be warded against. While 7 Fields and the others heard the girl speak, they all accidentally caught up to in front of the girl and met. But Yishu knew that they were trying to get a look at the girl's appearance. Glory's character model had 2 kinds, a male and a female one. The details of appearance and build were done through an editor. A self-designed one worked too. A random-generated one also worked. If you liked reality, then you could directly take a picture and put your own face into the editor. After providing basic body measurements, the editor could automatically create a character model that looked the same as the original player. As a result, all the male players wanted to know whether a female player's appearance was the same as the person herself. It is said that some experienced wolf-natured players could tell whether a female player was fake or real with just a single glance. 7 Fields and the others didn't seem to possess this wolf attribute. After standing in a circle and observing Immerse Jade, they could only arrive at the conclusion, average. Whether her appearance was fake or real, they didn't know. But Immerse Jade was awfully energetic, and after worshipping the first clear team, she expressed her honor to join their team. Finishing, she once again was amazed that their expert first clear time was still level 18. Finally, she requested to see if she still had an opportunity to be a permanent member of their first clear team. 7 Fields could only regretfully explain that their party still had another brother. He just couldn't come today. Immersed Jade looked utterly lost, but she still didn't give up. Even if she couldn't become a main member, she started to apply to see if she could become a substitute member. Furthermore, she asked about what guild and organization they were from. This question made it difficult for 7 Fields and the others to answer. It was obvious this stranger worshipped them as experts. They still hadn't entered the dungeon, immersed Jade too. But after entering the dungeon and playing, experienced players would immediately recognize that the only expert in the party was Lord Grimm. The rest weren't worth mentioning. Immersed Jade's questions and expectations could only fall onto Brother Expert's head. Now she asked again what their guild was. Seven Fields and the others had a guild, but now they were under Brother Expert's godly halo. If they told her their guild's name, wouldn't that be the same as slapping their face? Oh, let's hurry up and enter. Seven Fields diverted the subject and took the lead. Sunset Clouds and the others followed closely. After entering the dungeon, naturally, Yi Shu began directing. Right after he said something, immersed Jade already asked in bafflement, who's talking? When she first joined the party, she chattered non-stop with Seven Fields and the others. It was Yi Shu's first time speaking. Lord Grimm, our party's god. All of our first kills were because of him. If we didn't have him, our party wouldn't be worth mentioning. Seven Fields found the opportunity to tell her the truth. After speaking, he immediately relaxed. I pay respects to the great god. Immersed Jade typed out a message and said aloud. Ha ha, let's go. Yi Shu laughed and began leading the group forward. Commanding, killing. Not long after, his expert demeanor had already been revealed. But in front of his presence, immersed Jade unexpectedly didn't show much excitement. Seven Fields and the others could see that this girl was a true noob. This little sister's ruined, Sunset Clouds secretly said. Her starting point is too high now. She's still a newbie and she's already met such an extreme expert. Later, how is she going to mix in with normal players? Seven Fields said. A tragedy, drifting water sighed with sorrow. Chapter 30, 2 Hidden Boss Clears. Immersed Jade was undoubtedly a cute noob. Starting from when she first entered the dungeon, she kept silent, carefully listened to directions, and earnestly carried them out. Although she still made beginner mistakes, she always apologized for them. As a result, everyone also didn't feel too good pointing out her faults. When immersed Jade made mistakes, Seven Fields and the others were even more nervous than her. They were afraid that Brother Expert would feel impatient because of this. A lot of experts didn't have much patience towards these inexperienced newbies. But after clearing more than half the dungeon, Seven Fields and others finally relaxed. Although Brother Expert's skill level was so high, he wasn't that sort of arrogant expert. To newbies, he was actually even more patient than Seven Fields and the others. Regarding commands that immersed Jade didn't understand, Brother Expert even went so far as to explain to her those special terms. Though with this additional player, their pace slowed down. Seeing that Brother Expert didn't care, Seven Fields and the others didn't point it out. While they killed monsters, they helped teach the newbie and were actually all very happy. Chatting with her, they found out that it was immersed Jade's first time in a dungeon. Before, she only completed quests to level up. The only quests left were the ones that required her entering a dungeon. Only then did she mix in with the crowd outside the dungeon and in the end, join such a famous party. Naturally, she was extremely pleased. Under the expert's advice, after clearing the dungeon, they went in for another round. Immersed Jade had already transformed. Only she hadn't played Glory for very long, so she still hadn't graduated from her newbie status yet. Finally, after countless dungeon clears, Lord Grimm and the others reached level 20, while immersed Jade was still a little off at level 19. Yi Shu saw that they might as well go through the dungeon a few more times and bring immersed Jade to level 22. During this time, they encountered two hidden bosses. Yi Shu led the party and killed them easily. But they hadn't seen any purple equipment today, only a few uncommon materials. Of course, immersed Jade didn't know that these materials were actually the most valuable items in low-level dungeons and only drooled for those rare equipments. Only, under Brother Expert's watch, they felt a bit embarrassed, so they explained the value of these items to immersed Jade. In the end, immersed Jade really was too lovable. Telling them that she was only a newbie and that she wouldn't need the dropped materials, she chose to give up on them. Seven Fields and the others immediately had their good impressions of this little sister multiply by 100. They told her that they would remember this favor. After selling the materials, they would split the money with her. Okay, then I'll be going off first. Exiting the dungeon, Yishu said goodbye to the party. Brother Expert, you're not going to pick a class. At level 20, everyone would have to pick a class and then leave beginner village. Not now, you guys go first. Then Brother Expert, let's keep in touch, Seven Fields said. Goodbye great God. Immersed Jade had already mixed in with everybody as if they had been together for half a lifetime. Moreover, after constantly hearing about Seven Fields and the other describing Lord Grimm's might, she finally decided to call him Great God. Yishu laughed and said goodbye to them. The four returned to Beginner Village to get their class quest. While Yishu brought Lord Grimm to Green Forest's dungeon, he turned around and put in Chen Guo's account card. He logged into the 10th server with this level 5 chasing haze. Correct, even though Glory couldn't open both games at once, it couldn't prevent players from playing 2 accounts on separate computers. This was Yishu's plan. As long as there were 2 or more players in a party, then they could meet a hidden boss. Yishu still needed a few materials from that Midnight Phantom Cat. The hidden boss didn't appear on the first round. Without saying a word, he directly exited the dungeon. Both characters went into a critically ill status. In this status, their HP and MP would be almost completely depleted and all of their attributes would decrease by 80%. They were pretty much useless and needed 10 minutes to recover. But this method was still faster than going through the dungeon. Lord Grimm already didn't gain experience from Green Forest. Originally, he was going to bring and level up Chasing Haze, but Chen Guo said he could do as he pleased, so Yishu did as he pleased. He got up, smoked a cigarette, drank some water, walked around, and when he returned, Lord Grimm and Chasing Haze had already recovered. Entering the dungeon, the hidden boss didn't appear again, so Yishu chose to exit the dungeon again. At 10 minutes a round, in 1 hour, he could enter 6 times. If he cleared the dungeon, then he would need 15 to 20 minutes each time, so he saved a significant amount of time. This method could only be done in Beginner Village though. After Beginner Village, real dungeons had a limit. 1 day 5 times, 1 day 3 times, or even 1 day 1 time, 1 week 1 time. Each dungeon had their own limits. This time, Yishu went to look at a guide in these 10 minutes. He had forgotten quite a bit of beginner things. Always running in the dungeon and then looking at a guide also wasn't a good habit. After 10 minutes, he entered Green Forest but the hidden boss still didn't appear. Yishu wasn't hurried and exited out again to look at a guide. 4 times, 5 times. Yishu looked as if he were going to waste the entire day doing this. When he entered the 5th time, the hidden boss still didn't appear. Finally, on the 6th time, the system announced the appearance of the Midnight Phantom Cat. Yishu relaxed his breath and began fighting. In theory, after Chasing Haze entered, she was useless and would be thrown at the entrance not moving. But Yishu thought that she might as well be brought along to leech some experience. As a result, he began moving both them. First, he brought Chasing Haze into a good spot and then Lord Grimm killed monsters near her so that she would leech some experience. Switching characters left and right, he was awfully busy. All of the guests that passed by the counter after using the restroom saw this and were all dumbstruck. Brother, you might as well just play on your own. Playing on 2 computers, isn't that a little too crazy? Yishu turned around and laughed. But he didn't speak and kept on playing. As long as the Midnight Phantom Cat came out, he wouldn't care about the rest. The material Yishu needed dropped 100% of the time, but luck determined the amount. In the end, Yishu was lucky and obtained 4 Midnight Cat fingernails. Adding in the 2 from the first clear, he already had 6. Yishu needed a total of 8, so 1 more run was enough. After killing the Midnight Phantom Cat, Yishu beautifully exited the dungeon again. He continued to use the 10-minute per round method. First round none. Second round none. On the 3rd round, his luck failed again, but this time, a system message suddenly popped up. He opened it up and saw that the player Blue River wanted to be his friend. He didn't know whether to accept or not. Blue River. Who was that? Yishu looked around in Lord Grimm's vicinity. He didn't see any name like that. Then he thought that maybe it was because he was a level 20 standing outside Green Forest, so the player wanted to add a high-leveled friend to carry him. Yi Shu clicked ignore. In the end, he discovered another request. He ignored it again. Another one, another ignore, another one. He kept on ignoring the requests. In these 10 minutes, this player called Blue River unexpectedly didn't give up and sent a total of 18 friend requests to Lord Grimm. Ignore wasn't a reject. A message that was ignored could be sent again. Yi Shu was deeply moved by this player's persistence. As a result, he flipped open a message and clicked accept.